The Galactic Reserve Council chamber, a cold cathedral of power, held the fate of worlds in its sterile blue light.
By order of the Reserve, Earth's sovereign assets, 4.2 trillion credits, are frozen, effective immediately. Concede the disputed territories, or watch your economy bleed out.
On Earth, Treasury Secretary Kenneth Chen read the notification alone, his face unreadable.
We accept your terms.
He dictated a formal reply, voice to text, and sent it before anyone could intervene.
Director, they accepted. Just we accept your terms. No counteroffer, no protest.
It's a bluff. Earth has no economic leverage. They'll break when the sanctions bite.
Across Earth, flags dropped to half-mast. The public saw surrender. Galactic markets braced for collapse.
300 years of human patience. Not yet, but soon.
The emergency session of Earth's Finance Council had devolved into chaos within the hour.
He didn't even negotiate. 4.2 trillion frozen, and he just agreed. Secretary Chen, the markets are assuming we've folded. Our allies are calling for explanations. What do I tell them?
Nothing. Let them wonder.
Nothing? Kenneth, if you have a plan, the rest of government needs to know?
Not yet. Trust the process, Cole. That's an order.
Cole left the office without another word, slamming the door. Kenneth remained motionless by the window. Alone, he crossed to a secure wall safe, its biometric scanner recognizing only 3 living humans. From the safe, he withdrew a worn physical folder, its cover stamped with faded words. Orion Protocol, Vault 7.
200 years of buying low. 2 centuries of silence. Almost time.
Inside the folder, a transparent case preserved the original Vault 7 charter, its ink faded, but the signatures still bold. Orion Protocol, Vault 7, Authorization, Earth Sovereign Fund 2257. Purpose, Strategic Reserve against extraterrestrial financial coercion.
Every recession across 3 centuries, humanity bought the panic and stored the value.
He placed his palm on a bioscanner, unlocking the operational layer of Vault 7, dormant but ready. A holographic schematic of the vault station materialized, its defensive systems waiting for a release command.
Cole, my office now.
The deputy returned within minutes, still radiating disbelief from their earlier clash.
Initiate the Orion Protocol. Vault 7 opens in 11 days. You will tell absolutely no one.
Vault 7? That's a conspiracy theory from the pre-contact era. You're telling me it's real?
Kenneth turned to the countdown timer already ticking on the schematic. 11 days. Then, the end of the Galactic Reserve. 11 lightless days later, in the black of the outer Oort, a station shaped like a buried cylinder began to wake. Its outer hull split along ancient seams, spilling golden light into the void for the first time in 3 centuries. Automated drones swept the interior, their cameras transmitting a truth no living human had ever seen. Stacked from floor to vaulted ceiling, 880,000 metric tons of rare exotic elements glowing with their own elemental light. And in the deepest chamber, 14 quadrillion units of stable antimatter held in pulsing containment cylinders, cold and dormant. In his office, Kenneth watched the feed with Cole, the deputy's face slack with disbelief.
14 quadrillion? That's not a reserve. That's a galaxy's worth of energy.
Our ancestors bought it over 2 centuries. Every recession, every panic, they purchased the fear. Now it's ours. Prepare to release 3% of the exotic elements onto the open market. Start this weekend.
He gave the order, and Earth's hidden weapon began its quiet march toward the galactic markets. The first batch of exotic elements sat queued in a hidden trading account, waiting for a single command from the Treasury Secretary.
Begin the first tranche.
On the holographic terminal, the sell order cleared. Graphs flickered red as the first tonnage hit the open market. Across the galaxy, alien trading floors registered a slight dip in rare element prices. Nothing alarming yet. Traders dismissed the dip as profit-taking. A few even joked that Earth's recent surrender had spooked the market. But deep in the Galactic Reserve's economic monitoring system, one algorithm flagged an anomaly.
The volume of exotic elements on the market just spiked 30% above the quarterly average. Earth has no active mines. Where is this supply coming from?
He compiled a preliminary report and sent it to Director Margaret, marking it urgent. In his office, Kenneth watched the galactic ticker, a thin smile forming. The reserve had no idea what was coming.
Director, this is not a routine fluctuation. The sell volume on exotic elements is 40% above trend and accelerating.
Earth is dumping whatever scrap they have left. Let them empty their pockets.
In his office, Kenneth gave the quiet order: double the volume. On the trading floor, a human trader tapped the execute key without hesitation. Within the hour, exotic element prices began a steeper slide, dragging pegged currencies with them. By midday, the Galarian credit lost 5% and the Vecnar Drac dropped 8%. Traders went silent.
Director, the decline is accelerating. If this continues, the currency pegs will break.
Then we will issue a statement. Markets always overreact to phantom supply.
Kenneth watched the sell orders continue, the price of Therium and Volantium dropping further with each passing hour.
This is not over. Earth is engineering this.
Margaret ordered monitoring, but no intervention. The reserve would watch overnight, still believing the market could correct itself. By the next morning, alien news chyrons glowed with panic. Exotic crash. Currency slide into freefall. A major Financial Digest headline translated across species: Earth dumps unknown tonnage. Markets baffled.
Director, the Galarian credit is down 12%. The Vecnar Drac 15%. We must inject liquidity now or lose the pegs entirely.
If we inject now without knowing the extent of Earth's supply, we signal weakness. The political cost could topple this council.
She is more afraid of the other directors than of the crash. We are making a historic mistake.
Margaret called an emergency session, but the council argued for hours. One faction demanded intervention. Another warned of betraying reserve charter to a primitive species. On the trading screens, the sell orders continued without pause, each minute shaving another fraction from the colonial credit values. In his office, Kenneth watched the chaos spread across a dozen alien feeds, his smile steady.
They are still debating. Perfect. Maintain the volume and let the uncertainty do our work.
The reserve adjourned without a decision. The delay cost another 10% before the artificial night cycle on the capital worlds. By the third morning, the council could no longer delay. Margaret, overruling her own caution, authorized the emergency liquidity protocol.
Injecting 5 trillion reserve credits now. Market stabilization should occur within minutes.
For 16 minutes, the alien tickers reversed. The Galarian credit clawed back 4 points. The Vecnar Drac stabilized.
The crisis is contained. Earth's little plot ran out of metal to sell.
In his office, Kenneth watched the brief recovery without blinking. He opened a channel to the trading desk.
Triple the volume.
The sell order hit like a supernova. Exotic prices cratered. The reserve's 5 trillion credits vanished in a data blink.
Director, the injection has been absorbed completely. Prices are crashing past pre-intervention levels. The market believes we are defenseless.
This is not a market fluctuation. This is coordinated economic warfare from Earth. They have far more than scrap.
She dictated a formal demand to Earth's treasury: cease all trading immediately or face statutory retaliation. The message transmitted with failing confidence. The message from Director Margaret appeared silently on Kenneth's transparent tablet. He read the ultimatum without a flicker of concern.
Market forces.
The 2-word reply reached the reserve like a physical blow. Margaret's iridescent skin flared a furious, hot orange.
He mocks the reserve. Earth will not stop until every credit we hold is worthless.
By Friday close, the reserve's own credit had shed 40%. Across the galaxy, traders shut their terminals in stunned silence.
Director, even our most conservative models project a full currency failure by Monday if the sell volume resumes. And we have no idea how much more Earth holds in reserve.
Then we weather the weekend and pray Earth runs out of material before the market opens.
On Earth, Kenneth watched the weekend news feeds with a cup of tea, the Vault 7 feed glowing softly in the corner. Sunday night. Every analyst in the galaxy predicted a catastrophe. The Galactic Reserve's survival, and the old order itself, hung by a thread. Monday morning, 1 hour before the Galactic Open, a statement from Earth's treasury hit every financial terminal. Earth holds sufficient reserves to maintain current selling volumes indefinitely. We are open to negotiating a new settlement. The market opened to a wall of sell orders. Holographic tickers across 100 worlds turned red in unison. The reserve's own credit became the epicenter. Within 60 minutes, its value collapsed by 60%. A family on Galar huddled around a terminal, showing their lifetime savings reduced to a third of yesterday's value.
Director, the peg structure is disintegrating. We have minutes before it becomes irreversible.
Earth just announced they have enough to keep selling indefinitely. We can't match that with empty credits.
Then we must contact Earth. Ask what they want. This is no longer a market event. It's surrender or extinction.
Margaret stared at the falling numbers, the reflection of her own collapsing authority in every red digit. In his office, Kenneth watched the 60% crash settle into a new, terrible equilibrium. He knew the next move was hers. By mid-afternoon, the reserve's credit touched 91% down. The old order's currency was worth less than the air it traded on.
Director, I've completed the estimate. Earth has sold enough to crash every pegged currency, but that tonnage represents barely 3% of their probable reserves. They have 97% still sealed. We are not at war. We are at their mercy.
News of a hidden human vault, unknown for centuries, broke across every civilian channel. The galaxy learned the name Vault 7. From Earth, a terse confirmation. We maintain strategic reserves. Our current releases constitute a small fraction. We remain willing to negotiate terms. On the trading floor, Cole pumped his fist. Across alien capitals, crowds stared at billboards flashing an unthinkable statistic: 97% remaining. The galaxy froze.
He let us humiliate ourselves. He knew from the start we were bankrupt of leverage.
Director, the only path left is a direct appeal. You must ask for a summit publicly.
With shaking hands, Margaret recorded a message addressed to Earth's Treasury Secretary. It was not a demand. It was a plea. Kenneth watched the recording alone, his face a mask. The trap had closed perfectly.
You're not actually going to a summit, Kenneth. They'll use it to regain face and rally opposition.
I'll give them the summit they asked for. But first, Director Margaret must tell the galaxy the reserve was wrong. Publicly.
The terse reply crossed the void. We will meet. Publicly admit your overreach. Then request a summit on Unity Station. Within the hour, a broadcast from Director Margaret, her voice broken, her skin pale, admitted the reserve had overreached. She asked for a summit.
Cole, start drafting. The bailout will be generous, denominated in Terran credits, backed by the unopened 97%.
Terran credits? That makes us the central bank. The galaxy will never accept it without a fight.
They'll accept because the alternative is total collapse. Write the dissolution clause, permanent termination of the Galactic Reserve.
Cole's fingers hesitated, then began to type. The old order would die on a single sheet of holographic paper.
3 centuries of human patience. The architects of this vault planned for a day like this.
The summit lock was set. Kenneth's final terms, still unspoken, waited for the moment of absolute leverage. Kenneth opened a floating projection of Vault 7, the immense unopened chambers humming with latent wealth.
The terms are here. Permanent dissolution of the Galactic Reserve. She'll never sign this. This isn't a bailout, it's a surrender. You're asking her to erase her own species from the financial order.
It is exactly what it needs to be. Humanity will not repeat this crisis in another generation.
What if she refuses? What if they walk away?
Then Sundays sell off resumes, and Monday will see the complete obliteration of every alien currency. She knows.
Cole's eyes fell on a subclause. All reserve assets to be converted into Terran credits, backed by the antimatter reserves.
14 quadrillion units of antimatter as collateral. That's not a currency. That's a physical law.
Precisely. The Terran credit will be the first currency in history backed by the energy to annihilate any world that doubts it.
He pressed send. The terms arrived at Unity Station, waiting for Director Margaret like a verdict. The summit chamber on Unity Station was a hollow circle of neutral light, designed to make every species feel equally unwelcome. Margaret entered with a full delegation, her robes still impressive, but her eyes hollowed by weeks without real sleep. Kenneth arrived alone, holding a single transparent slate. He took his seat without greeting, his calm a weapon.
Secretary Chen, we have come in good faith. The Reserve is prepared to offer long-term credit lines at reduced rates. We can unfreeze your assets and negotiate the territorial dispute. There is no need for this chaos.
Kenneth leaned forward slightly, placed the slate on the polished table, and slid it toward her without a word. Her aides had to place their own data slates on a tray at the door. His single device held more power than their entire delegation.
Read the terms, Director. They are not a negotiation.
Margaret's iridescent skin flickered through panic and fury as her eyes found the dissolution clause. The color drained from her face.
This isn't a bailout. You are asking us to erase ourselves from history. This is extortion. You would dissolve a 1,000-year institution and call it a bailout.
Call it what you like. The alternative is a galaxy where your currency no longer buys bread.
He activated the chamber's holographic display. Vault 7's unopened chambers flooded the room, treasures glowing like a threat.
You see 3%. The remaining 97% can flood the market at my command. Your economists can calculate the result.
A countdown materialized in the air above the table. 60 minutes. Kenneth's finger hovered over the cell command on his slate.
1 hour, Director. Sign or watch your world's financial memory become a historical footnote.
Margaret retreated to a private alcove. Krell's voice was a whisper of mathematical certainty.
Director, even a partial resumption of selling would push the remaining credit holders into revolt. We have no reserves left.
If you sign, at least our people survive. Pride is a luxury of the solvent.
52 minutes remained. Margaret stared at the timer, her hand trembling toward the stylus. 30 minutes left. New feeds showed riots on 3 major worlds, crowds smashing reserve branches whose credits were now worthless.
Director, reserve central systems are failing. We lost 3 colony payout networks in the last 10 minutes. The collapse is no longer a projection. It is happening.
The countdown read 11 minutes. Margaret looked at the glowing document, then at the screen showing the riot feeds. Her hand reached for the holographic stylus, trembling. The reserve's crest flickered on the signature line.
1,000 years of history, and a human with a vault ended it.
The stylus touched the tablet. A soft chime confirmed the signature. The Galactic Reserve Charter dissolved in that single tone. Without ceremony, Kenneth took the stylus and signed the bailout agreement, his signature converting into a Terran credit guarantee.
The bailout is now active. Terran credits will begin stabilizing your networks immediately.
The countdown vanished. Margaret stared at the floor, unable to meet the eyes of her own delegation. Broadcast drones captured every angle of the summit table, the shame on Margaret's face, the calm on Kenneth's. The Galactic Reserve's official seal flickered on every screen. then shattered into glowing fragments. A new Terran credit symbol rose in its place. Kenneth's signature triggered the bailout algorithm. Terran credits began flooding reserve payout networks, converting worthless balances into backed currency. On the Galactic network, the dissolution wave spread like a purple pulse. Every reserve node deactivated, every colonial credit replaced. 12 light-years away, a trading floor on Galar watched its tickers stop falling. For the first time in days, numbers turned green. On Earth, Cole stared at the live feed, a laugh escaping his lips, half disbelief, half relief.
He actually did it. 3%, and the whole galactic order folded.
1,000 years erased in 1 hour, and the humans will call it a bailout.
The markets are stabilizing. By market close, Terran credits will be the only liquid currency in known space.
The broadcast ended, but the question it left behind clung to every being in the galaxy. What kind of species plans for 3 centuries, then wins without a single shot? On Vecnar, the main exchange reconfigured its core ticker. The Terran credit symbol now anchored every pricing row.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just rewrote the financial physics of the galaxy, and we didn't fire a single shot.
Kenneth walked out of the summit chamber without looking back. Cole fell into step beside him, still stunned. He gave a small nod to the deputy, then paused at the transport bay, staring at the stars. On Galar, a government broadcast acknowledged the new currency regime, begrudging acceptance, resentment hidden beneath. Over the Galarian moon, a Terran credit symbol was projected, visible from the surface, an unsubtle reminder of the new order. A former reserve clerk swiped a Terran credit chip for the first time. The terminal beeped accepted, and she wept.
The architects of Vault 7 predicted economic subjugation. We gave them peaceful integration. Same result.
Earth's trading floor finally fell silent as the interstellar market closed. Green numbers, stable and smug. The camera pulled back from the financial district, the Terran credit symbol glowing above the skyline. The old empire of credit was dead. 3 days after the summit, Kenneth stood at a podium in Earth's Great Assembly Hall, the galaxy watching. The broadcast reached every settled world.
For 3 centuries, humanity saved what others spent. We built a reserve not for war, but for exactly this moment, to guarantee stability when all else failed. Terran credits are backed by 14 quadrillion units of stable antimatter. That is not a promise, that is a physical reality.
On Vecnar, a massive crowd in the central plaza watched in silence, faces lit by the giant holographic screen. Some clenched their fists, others simply stared.
The reserve demanded concessions through coercion. We replied with market forces. The galaxy deserved better.
In a private viewing chamber, a group of alien leaders listened with hard eyes. One slammed a fist on the table and walked out. Conquered by accountants, he muttered. A busy market on Galar showed the speech on every stall screen, subtitles scrolling in a dozen scripts. Shoppers paused, listening to the translated words.
We are not conquerors. We are the stewards of a new financial age. But make no mistake, this stability is not optional.
The speech ended. Earth's delegates applauded while the alien ambassadors sat motionless, their expressions carved from cold stone. The broadcast faded. The crowds dispersed, carrying a new reality in their silence. The Terran credit was now the heartbeat of the galaxy, and the galaxy needed that heart to beat. A week later, the former reserve headquarters on Vecnar underwent a quiet transformation. Workers removed the old seal and installed the Terran Banking Authority emblem. Kenneth and Cole walked through the silent chambers of Vault 7 one last time. The unopened 97% stretched into darkness.
The galaxy is stable. The credit is ours. What now, Kenneth?
Watch.
They stood at a viewport overlooking the antimatter containment field, the silent pulse of a power that could unmake any world that doubted the credit it backed. On Galar, An elderly former reserve official inserted a Terran credit chip into a public terminal. The screen lit up. Transaction approved. She closed her eyes.
They think the war is over. It hasn't even begun. But the real war is fought in ledgers, not battlefields.
Cole nodded slowly, studying Kenneth's face. The deputy would never know the full depth of the vault's architects, or the next moves already in motion.
300 years bought us this leverage. Now we use it, not for conquest, but for something far more permanent.
The vault hummed around them, a silent fortress of ancient wealth, waiting for the next command that might never come, or that might reshape the galaxy. Months later, the first Terran-led financial summit convened on Earth. Alien delegates from 43 civilizations filled the hall, their currencies now pegged to the Terran credit.
The era of speculative fiat is over. Stability is backed by physical reality, elements, antimatter, and the discipline of 3 centuries.
Alien ambassadors sat in quiet rows, their compliance a mask. Some took careful notes, others stared ahead with hooded, unreadable eyes. An alien ambassador rose, his voice cautious. He thanked Earth for the stewardship and remarked that the markets had never been so predictable. Kenneth nodded. The thanks felt like a chain. The summit adjourned to cold, polite applause. Later, a holographic news article glowed in the darkness, Earth's currency, the unshakable credit, with Kenneth's image beneath the headline.
Unshakable, and completely alone. The architects of the vault never planned for gratitude, only leverage.
On alien capital streets, holographic ads now offered Terran credit accounts. A new normal, accepted, but never loved.
We have it all now. Stability, control, the fear of every world. But this piece is just another market. It can crash without warning.
He closed the tablet. The summit was routine. The war was won. But the silence of his office held a deeper cost. One no Terran credit could measure. Late that night, Kenneth rose from his desk and moved to the floor-to-ceiling window. The new financial district glittered below. The Terran credit symbol hung in the night sky, a cold star of human dominance. From his pocket, he withdrew an old physical photograph, black and white, faded, of Vault 7 under construction 3 centuries ago.
3 centuries ago, they started hammering metal. Tonight, the entire galaxy obeys the credit it backs.
His tired eyes traced the vault's image, then lifted to the city. The price of peace was a loneliness no summit could fill. The camera pulled back, through the glass, revealing Kenneth as a small silhouette against the luminous skyline. High above, the Terran credit symbol pulsed gently, the new heartbeat of the galactic economy. On the outskirts of the city, a monument stood, 6 figures in spacesuits, dated 2257. We waited 300 years, the plaque read. A child looked up at the monument, then back at the glowing symbol in the sky, learning the first lesson of this new age. Humanity played the longest game, and won.